Have you ever looked at someone incredibly disciplined and thought, I could never be like that? Maybe you've tried waking up at 5 a.m. Maybe you downloaded 5 productivity apps. Maybe you made a strict schedule, color-coded and beautiful. And 2 weeks later, you were back in bed, doom scrolling until 2 a.m. Sound familiar? It's not because you're weak. It's not because you lack willpower. It's because you've been taught discipline the wrong way. True discipline isn't about punishment. It's not about controlling every second of your day or forcing yourself to suffer. It's about power, and how you structure that power inside your own mind. Let's go back over 500 years, to one of the most feared and misunderstood thinkers in history, Niccolo Machiavelli. Most people think Machiavelli was all about manipulation, cruelty, and cold ambition. But hidden inside the prince, and especially the discourses, is a deeper message. If you don't control your impulses, someone else will. Think about that. If you don't master your distractions, they'll master you. If you don't build your own habits, you'll live inside someone else's algorithm. Machiavelli wasn't teaching rulers how to be cruel. He was showing how power really works, both in governments and in your own life. So what does this have to do with you and your lack of motivation? Because in Machiavellian terms, discipline isn't a moral good. It's a strategic weapon. You don't wake up early because it's noble. You wake up early to gain an edge over the parts of yourself that want to stay asleep, literally and metaphorically. You don't plan your day because you want to be a robot. You plan your day so you don't become a puppet. Discipline is the ultimate rebellion against being manipulated by society, by your environment, by your own laziness. And here's the dark truth. You are always being shaped by something. By your phone. By your past. By your fears. By the people around you who gave up on their own dreams and want you to give up too. If you don't actively sculpt your identity, it will be sculpted for you. And that's where discipline comes in, not as torture, but as design. So here's the question. What if discipline wasn't a punishment, but a declaration of freedom? Most people think motivation comes first. They wait for the feeling, the surge of energy, the spark of inspiration, the perfect moment. But Machiavelli would say, waiting is weakness. If you're waiting, you've already lost. In his view, power belongs to those who act before they feel ready. Why? Because feelings are unstable. They come and go like weather. If you let emotion decide your path, your life becomes reactive, never strategic. Discipline flips the script. It says, I act, then the feeling will follow. I don't need to feel powerful to move. I move, and that makes me powerful. This is where people get discipline wrong. They think it has to come from willpower. But willpower fades. Discipline, when built correctly, comes from identity. You don't brush your teeth every day because you're highly motivated. You do it because it's who you are. So ask yourself, who are you becoming when no one's watching? That's the question Machiavelli would ask, not, are you good? But, are you effective? He didn't care about moral perfection. He cared about outcomes, about structure, about systems. And if you're building your life, you need structure. Here's a hard truth. You already have a system. But chances are, it's not one you designed. Maybe your current system is built on impulse, dopamine, distraction. Maybe your schedule isn't built around your goals. It's built around other people's demands, notifications, and trends. And yet, you keep blaming yourself for not being disciplined enough. But discipline isn't about being harsh with yourself. It's about being honest with yourself. What are your actual habits? What do you do when no one is judging you? What do your mornings say about your priorities? What does your phone screen time say about your values? Discipline begins where denial ends. It's not about shame. It's about clarity. And once you have that clarity, you don't need to fight yourself anymore. You just design a better system and live inside it. That's what powerful people do. They don't rely on mood. They rely on their framework. And they refine it over and over until it works for them, not against them. Discipline is not natural. It's engineered. No one is born with the urge to delay gratification or wake up early. It's not instinctual to plan. Your biology wants comfort. Your environment wants your attention. And your past habits want repetition. So if everything around you is pushing you toward distraction, how do you push back? Here's where Machiavelli becomes useful again. He said, "It is much safer to be feared than loved, if one has to choose." Now apply that to your inner world. Are you more afraid of discomfort or of staying the same? This is the pivot. People think discipline is about adding more rules, more apps, more pressure. But sometimes, discipline begins by removing what makes you weak. That could be a person. That could be a habit. That could be a belief you've outgrown. There's a word Machiavelli loved, virtù. Not virtue in the moral sense, but in the ancient Roman sense. Power, boldness, the ability to shape destiny through decisive action. Discipline is your way of practicing virtù every single day. It's the refusal to be passive. It's the refusal to be predictable. You become the kind of person who says, "I don't wait for the right mood. I create the right system. I don't fear discomfort. I fear regret. I don't live by default. I live by design." And yes, there will be days when you want to give up, when the resistance screams louder than your goals, when it feels easier to slip back into the fog of distraction. But that's where discipline really begins, not on the easy days, but on the hard ones. When you act despite doubt, when you move despite fear, when you build despite chaos, that's when you prove to yourself that you're not just reacting to life, you're leading it. Machiavelli understood that those who control themselves are the only ones fit to lead others. And before you can lead anyone, you must lead your own impulses, your own time, your own narrative. So if you're struggling, stop asking for motivation. Ask instead, what system am I living in? And more importantly, who built it? Every system you follow is either building your future or stealing it. There is no neutral routine. There is no harmless habit. Every repeated action either moves you closer to your vision or distracts you from it. And here's the painful truth. The world rewards consistency, not intention. You can dream big. You can journal, visualize, manifest. But without execution, it all dissolves into fantasy. Machiavelli didn't believe in fantasy. He believed in force. Not the brutal kind, but the internal kind. The force of clarity, repetition, and responsibility. He knew that freedom isn't given. It's built. And the price of that freedom is structure. So let's ask the real question. Are you living as an architect or as a prisoner? A prisoner waits for the system to change. An architect changes the system. This doesn't mean life becomes rigid or joyless. It means you become intentional. You stop leaking time. You stop outsourcing your priorities to algorithms and pressure. You start reclaiming your agency. And slowly, the version of you who shows up every day becomes different. Not by accident. By design. You wake up and do the hard thing, not because it feels good, but because it makes you good. You train your brain to sit through discomfort, to choose progress over pleasure. You let go of perfect timing and start living in committed timing. You stop treating discipline like punishment and start treating it like power. And one day, without fanfare or applause, you'll realize you've become the kind of person you used to admire. Not because you were the smartest, fastest, or most talented, but because you showed up. You practiced. You changed your system, and it changed you. So the next time you feel like quitting, remember, your future is already happening. The question is, are you the one shaping it?